Um, Elizabeth Hurley, Damian Hurley, thank you so much for being a part of this podcast. Before we start, we always do something called the over the top intro, and I don't have a lot of time. Is that okay with you guys?
Sure.
Okay, let's get it. My next guest is a mother-son power couple. One is a legendary actress whose career is still playing out right in front of our very eyes in film and television. When she's not dazzling us in front of the camera, she is a strong advocate for breast cancer awareness, whether she's raising funds or getting the word out to end this terrible disease. Sitting beside her is her model, actor, writer, director, son, of which we are here to talk about today. The name of the movie is called Strictly Confidential, in theaters and on demand April 5th, 2024. Elizabeth Hurley, Damian Hurley, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Oh man, this is such a treat. I want to start off by saying, Damian, happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
And also, I may be showing my age with this one. Miss Elizabeth Hurley, it's an honor to have you on my podcast. I have been watching your work. I may be showing my age here, but I've been watching your work since Passionate 57, and I haven't looked away since. So it's awesome.
Thank you, thank you.
Well, let's get into it, man. Damian, Strictly Confidential is your baby. You wrote and directed this. I'm curious, how did this come about?
God, I came up with the idea for this film when I was 17, and it was coming out of a really heavy time. I just lost a friend to suicide, and it was a devastating time. And I wrote this idea, I channeled everything into it, and then I was 17, I didn't know what to do with it, so I just put it away, tucked it into a dusty drawer, and then COVID hit, the world fell apart, and I made a short film after lockdown, and got a call out of the blue when I just turned 20 from an executive at Lionsgate. Said, "Hey, I've just seen your short film. Do you have any other scripts? We'd love you to write and direct a feature." So I went, "Yeah, of course I do," and ran around trying desperately to find every idea I'd ever had. And I found this idea tucked away in a drawer, and I read it again. Obviously, it needed to be changed, updated. It had been a couple of years, but that's this film, Strictly Confidential, was born.
All right, now, one of the hardest things about preparing these questions is to not give away this movie because there's so many questions in this movie. So you're going to have to watch how I word some of these because I don't want to give this away. This is such a good film. But Elizabeth, how did you get attached to this?
Well, once Damien told me that somebody wanted him to really make his first movie, I was thrilled for him, obviously, as any parent would be. But also I was really worried because I knew that as an artist, he could make this film. As a director, I knew he could work with the actors. I knew he could supervise the edit. I knew he could supervise the post because he's been doing that for years by himself, mostly directing me and stuff. But I was really nervous about a kid being so exposed in our big bad industry without someone to have his back. So I came on as producer straight away, and we really, really started working incredibly well together with that. He knew that I could be Team Damien and keep all the wolves away so that he could focus and do the job, and I could work out all the problems when the costumes couldn't get through customs. All the billions of things that happened, and of course did happen. Every day was a battle, every day was a war. I was putting out fires all around him, but I wanted him to really focus on his movie, which he did. And I was so glad with how he did it, because we were shooting in the exquisite Caribbean. And in the movie, it looks magnificent, but it was tough to shoot there, really tough. So there are a lot of challenges that we hit across the way, but we love the result, and everything was worth it.
All right, that's awesome. I hope you gave him a good rate. That's one way to teach him the business right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of a break.
But Damien, I gotta say this, and as a guy who watched this movie, you may be one of the most fearless young directors I ever had to talk with in quite some time. Because hold on, wait, there's a second part.
Oh.
There's some scenes in Strictly Confidential that get a little steamy. Let's just put it that way. And some of them have to do with your mom. I'm curious, how do you approach that?
I've got to say, when you're shooting an independent film, I mean, we had a long time for prep in this, a long time for post, but only 18 active shooting days. So every moment matters, every second you're on set, every second counts. You're being dived on by mosquitoes, you're losing the light, you've got 9, 10 pages a day to shoot, you're just being swarmed. And so I gotta say, that was the last thing on our minds. We were just thinking how to make every scene beautiful, how to make the day, how to get through as best as we could, as fast as we could. You know, my favorite thing is one day we came to set, we were meant to be shooting a beautiful, tranquil, calm beach, and we had a tornado warning, a tropical storm on the horizon. You know, those are the sort of things you're dealing with on a day-to-day basis.
So a sex scene was nothing.
A sex scene was absolutely nothing. It's business, showbiz.
All right, well, you're still one of the most fearless, because my brain would look. That's me. That's why you are you and me are me. Because man, I'm just moving on. Next question. I'm just going to the next question. Look, what other than being distracted by that beautiful scenery all around you, what would you say was the most challenging part of this film?
I think just
And that's a question for both of you, either one of you.
Oh,
well, logistically, being on a very, very remote island was fabulous for how it eventually looked. And the film company were doing a really special thing, because they came to this very small island in the Caribbean called Nevis, which is part of St. Kitts and Nevis. And they brought filmmaking to this island where nobody had ever made a movie before. And part of their incentive was to teach trades to the local people who lived on the island, to get them involved in the film business, to be able to come in as crew members, etc. And they'd made about 6 or 7 movies there, of which I'd actually already been in a couple, and it was working fabulously. So they started off by bringing in from America and England all the heads of department and a few other people in that team, and gradually started to teach to local people from Nevis and St. Kitts the skills, the camera skills, sound, costume, everywhere. And this was just a wonderful process to be a part of. So by the time we made our film, there were so many people from St. Kitts and Nevis who were part of our team that it made it absolutely fabulous. But the only small downside of that was, the good side was that people who walk into the industry have so much enthusiasm and passion, and it's so amazing to have a new industry on an island, that to be working behind a camera or in the costume room, whatever it was simply amazing. But of course they were still quite inexperienced, because it was only their maybe first, second or third film. So we had a smaller crew than I'd worked on previously before. And the other disadvantage of the Caribbean is the advantage of the weather. So looks magnificent, but of course the sun is hard and high and hot. And because Damian really wanted this movie to look lush and beautiful, to really contrast with what was going on underneath, which was, you know, quite a lot of darkness, he wanted to juxtapose that with beauty. But he then also didn't want to shoot outside in the high sun, because it's really unflattering to everyone, and everybody looks bad, and it washes out the colour, and it looks weird. So that was another thing we had to really fight with scheduling, to check where the sun was on every single place he wanted to point a camera. We had to check the sun was where we wanted it to be, to grim it out. So those are sort of challenges. Also, because it was so remote, if something broke, you can't get anything else. There was no chance. You can't go to Panavision and get another crane. You can't do anything. You had to get everything in.
Yeah.
Costumes all had to be brought in before, because there was nothing to buy. All that stuff made it another super challenge. Any prop you might needed, like we needed a throwaway bottle, where you hit
it and it smashes, but it's
yeah. But guys, I think you did it. I think you made some magic here. I wish you the best of luck. It's out. It's in theaters. It's on demand. I know only had a little bit of your time, but this has been awesome. You guys are welcome back whenever you want. And I would just wish you the best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us. Very
All right. Well, you have a great one, and I'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.